It's a waterfowl bonanza out here. There's gotta be more than 1,000 ducks feeding right offshore. Let's go meet the stars of the show. I began my birding adventure before sunrise, and despite the poor lighting, I could tell that Clear Lake was hosting a tremendous amount of waterfowl. Most of the lakes south of here are completely thawed, while many of the lakes to the north remain at least partially frozen over. This meant that waterfowl couldn't progress much further north of Clear Lake, leading to many birds staging on the water. A group of 45 ring-necked ducks paddling right off the beach were the first ducks of the day. These birds are usually very active divers, so it was nice to see them initially enjoying a peaceful morning swim, but it didn't take long for them to begin foraging. Luckily for ring-necked ducks, they locate the aquatic plants they feed on by feel, so they don't need any light to find breakfast. Oh, and in case you're wondering, Canada geese do wake up and choose violence. You can see this young trumpeter swan is starting to replace its gray feathers with the white feathers that adults sport. This young lad still needs to work on its call, though. This immature swan was still with its parents, but it will soon be striking out on its own. Many trumpeter swans remain in this area to breed in the region's numerous wetlands, so perhaps it will stick around. As I watched the ring-necked ducks, a tiny duck snuck onto the scene. This bird was none other than a bufflehead, the smallest diving duck in North America. These goofy ducks started their morning off with a show as rowdy males tried to capture the attention of females with their hilarious mating displays. I gotta say, Buffleheads may have my favorite mating display of any duck that I've witnessed. The males remind me of hungry hippos as they extend their heads out and quickly pull them back. I love how the ring-necked ducks are calmly floating in the background while the Buffleheads wildly splash around. They know not to mess with these crazy little ducks. Are there any ducks that have mating displays that can top those of the Bufflehead? Let me know in the comments what you think. The next species that I detected was gone in a flash. Fortunately, a male of this species popped right up and revealed a common Merganser. These are some of the first ducks to move through the Midwest, with most of their migration wrapping up by mid-April. This first location has been great, and I've gotten terrific looks at several duck species, but now that the sun's coming up, I'm going to move elsewhere and try to get closer to the main concentration of ducks on the lake. I stopped at a boat ramp to see if this spot would be better for observing the thousands of ducks on the lake. Unfortunately, the majority of the ducks were still to the south of this location by a bit, but I did manage to get some footage here. My first find at the boat ramp was a group of red-breasted Mergansers. These bachelor males stuck together as they moved around the lake, and I really enjoy that they all coordinated their dives to be within a few seconds of one another. Maybe this makes it easier for them to catch fish underwater. There were plenty of common goldeneyes to be seen from the boat ramp. Small sets of these shy ducks had dispersed to many areas of the lake where the males tried their best to catch a lady's attention. The males' displays have similar elements to those of some other diving ducks in that they toss their heads back. Another element of their display is a kick in the water. I got to see lots of displaying happening today as males work to establish a pair bond in anticipation for the upcoming breeding season. Studies have found that there seem to be more adult male common goldeneyes than females, and there are an average of 4 displaying males for every female in a group. Okay, I'm getting to move to a new spot. This time, I hope I'm in the perfect position to view the massive flock of ducks on the lake. This new vantage point was the perfect spot, and I enjoyed great looks at a dozen different duck species. I was greeted by a very accommodating Canada goose. It was quite generous, as it did not incessantly honk at me when I arrived, only uttering a few tiny honks. I obtained some better views of common Mergansers here compared to earlier in the day, as several immediately buzzed by me before landing nearby. I made sure to remain very still, as common Mergansers are typically quite skittish if they think any kind of danger could be nearby. I was rewarded with some incredible looks at these mohawked birds as they scanned for fish. My North American Merganser Grand Slam was complete when I detected a pair of hooded Mergansers. They were repeatedly taking flight, and it looked like they were strongly considering landing in some bur oak trees. This handsome species breeds in tree cavities and birdhouses in north-central Iowa, so I suspect they were looking for a potential home for the breeding season. A handful of Gadwalls swam my way, offering some fantastic views. I know Gadwalls aren't the prettiest ducks, but you've got to admit that the males look pretty sharp with their gray feathers. These large ducks were already feeling sleepy despite the sun just recently rising. They must have had a busy night of migration before getting a chance to rest on Clear Lake. Thankfully, it was a calm morning, so they should have been able to relax. Gadwall's close relatives, Mallards, were next to approach me. I won't spend too much time discussing these dabbling ducks since they're the stars in some of my other videos, but I'll show you this Mallard couple. The female had a lot to say. Canvasbacks were the most numerous ducks present this morning. They were flying around all over the place and repeatedly diving among the hundreds of other ducks on the lake. Also in that group were many lesser scaup and ring-necked ducks among less numerous duck species. I considered adding the footage of all of those species into this video, but I think I'll split this waterfowl adventure into multiple parts so I can keep the videos a good length of time. With that said, please be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Also, I would appreciate it if you subscribed and joined my flock. This is Connor from WorldWideBirder, signing off.